So Jeremy, can you tell us why it's important to challenge your beliefs?
Yeah, I mean, if we want to build more peace in our world, in our lives, at work, between relationships with our family and friends, I think challenging your own beliefs is important. And I think the first step to challenging your beliefs is recognizing what's a belief and what is knowledge. And I might define the two if I want to distinguish them. And there's lots of philosophy and theories on what knowledge is versus belief, and true belief versus not, sort of false belief. But the way that I kind of think about it is, knowledge, what we know, and this is the study of epistemology, but what we know is a concept of reality or truth that is supported by empirical evidence or by direct observation with the senses. And I would say that belief is a version of reality or truth that is not necessarily supported by empirical evidence or direct observation with the senses. And it doesn't mean that it's not true. It just means that it's not necessarily supported by evidence. And sometimes that doesn't matter. If we're looking at postmodern thinkers, subjectivity and perception is kind of all that really matters, because there's no way to separate the knower from the known and that kind of stuff. So it depends on where you're coming from. But I think in general, if you can recognize what are the things I know. So for instance, I know that I'm sitting here in this chair because I can sense it. I know that I'm talking to you and that you exist over there because I can see you. I'm actually observing you and sensing that. Those are things that I know. If I take my mouse here and drop it and it falls to the ground, I know it's going to fall to the ground because, I have evidence to support it. I can actually observe it. And what do I believe? Well, when we hang up here, Noah, and you disappear from my direct sensory observation, I still believe that you exist somewhere. I don't know it for sure because I can't see you, but I believe it, And so there could be truth to what I believe, but there could not be truth. And I think so once you recognize what you believe versus what you actually know, what's really supported by direct observation or empirical evidence, then you can decide which of my beliefs are worth challenging. And I would say that the beliefs that are worth challenging are the beliefs that tend to get you into trouble with people or the world. And so what beliefs lead you to conflict? So if I have particular beliefs that tend to lead me into conflict in myself, or conflict with other people, or conflict sort of with the world in general as an abstract idea, I think it's worth challenging those beliefs, because otherwise you're going to remain in conflict. If you believe, hey, I know this version of the world, and anyone that doesn't believe that too or know that too is ignorant or just evil or stupid or something like that. That's a belief that can get you into trouble. And that usually will get you into conflict. And I think people get very identified with beliefs. I think belief requires a lot of emotionality because it doesn't have the evidence to support it. It requires emotional investment, identity investment, and that often leads to defensiveness and that sort of thing when people challenge your beliefs. So it's not easy to challenge your beliefs. It's very difficult, it's very uncomfortable. But if you're noticing you have certain beliefs that are getting you into conflict with people and with the world in general, or even within yourself. If you believe, for instance, I don't really know what I'm doing. That's a belief you might hold. I don't really know what I'm doing, and they're going to find out. Or she's trying to get me. That my coworker's trying to get me. I don't know for sure. Maybe I don't have the evidence, but I'm pretty sure I believe it. Those types of beliefs are just worth challenging because they're getting you into conflicts, and it's worth kind of looking at it. How do I know this for sure? What evidence do I have to support it? A lot of times, the beliefs that we hold, we can find evidence to the contrary. Sometimes we don't find evidence to support our beliefs, and that's difficult to find. And so, confirmation bias kicks in, and people don't want to look at things that might contradict what they deeply are invested emotionally in on a belief structure. But if you're willing to do the hard work, and if you're willing to be a little uncomfortable, it's worth it if you want to be more at peace. So I would highly recommend recognizing what your beliefs are versus what you know for sure, which beliefs are worth challenging because which ones are getting you into conflicts, and testing them. How do you know for sure? And if you don't know for sure, can you be open to other versions of reality? Can you be open to other people's beliefs as well? If you can't, that's going to lead into conflict. If you can, that's great. And again, this is a theoretical, there's a large conversation about lots of theories about how we know what we know, and is there any way to know anything at all? And so you can have different versions of that conversation. But again, I think wanting to bring more peace into your life, it probably requires some challenging of your own assumptions and beliefs.